Well, our interview is ready. We do have FartSJ, the full proper name, joining us for an interview here. I can't even say it with a straight face, but BSJ, you're going to go for a full rebrand? Is everything, including the socials, going to be rebranded to FartSJ now?
We haven't fully embraced it that much yet, but, you know, you never know in the future.
Yeah, of course. I look forward to it maybe happening everywhere. But I want to ask, your previous series, it obviously didn't go the way you guys wanted. It did go all 3 games, though. And from your point of view, I want to know what went wrong, but also what was the chat within the team after losing to both Felt and Ant?
I'd say that we honestly never really discussed the meta in a clear way. I think we all had our individual ideas, and after these games, we were like, I feel like 3 different pages from 3 different lanes, and nobody's particularly wrong or anything. It was just our vision of the game was not at all the same, and so I decided I was also doing a bunch of different things with the draft. So I wanted to talk to the team about like what heroes they wanted to play, and then I said, but after I find out what heroes you guys want to play, like let's just have the draft revolve around one central idea and go from there. So I think we just kind of organized and collected all the random stuff on the ground, basically.
Yeah, and would you say, like, you're pretty happy then with how you guys improved from those series to this one, that this series, in your eyes, felt a little bit more collected than just everything?
Yeah, I think we had easier drafts. Like, I wouldn't even say they're, like, better in the sense that they counter the opponent, but I think our draft plan was, like, much more straightforward. And, like, if things get hard and you have a plan in the draft, you kind of have, like, a fallback, and, like, you know what you want to do with it, so that's what I liked today. Okay.
All right. Gods, if you have any questions?
Yeah, you touched a bit upon the draft there, BSJ. I'm curious about this first phase Bloodseeker we're seeing from your team today. Do you have any more insight on why this hero was particularly valuable for you guys in this series?
So I mean, I know this is like pretty common knowledge amongst teams, so I'm not too worried. The pick on first pick, the 8th pick, is like the most important pick, I think, in the draft for first pick, because it's the only pick you can really count, or the only pick you can really protect. If you look at the second round of the draft, you get 2 picks in a row and they counter it. The last round of the draft, you pick and then they counter it. So I want to be able to pick a hero there that I think will have a strong lane, and if protected, is much easier to play. And so Bloodseeker, he's just really good against Death Prophet. It kind of owns her. She can't run around in the fights, and it's one of the few carries that can actually lane it. So they actually swapped it to the mid lane in the last game, which made it a bit difficult for us compared to the first game, because it just free farms against Death Prophet. So it like allows us to have one lane that we know we're going to win. We protect the pick so that it can scale into the late game, and then yeah, it's just an enableable hero. I think it's really just counters Death Prophet, so that's why I picked it, pretty much.
No, that's great. It's kind of good to hear that extra insight. Last question I have is a bit of a fun one. A lot of nicknames coming your way out of Twitch chat. Do you have a favorite that you get called for the BSJ?
I'd probably say the BSJ was always my favorite. I think that was the funniest one. But the FartSJ, I don't actually have a favorite nickname per se, but I really like the people that that flame you guys saying, "Why are you dead naming BSJ? Like his name's FartSJ." Like stop calling him that and stuff like that. It's like the people that are like defending my identity shift or whatever. I think that's really funny.
Yeah, I had to flame Fear on that one. He kept calling you BSJ. It was messed up.
Yeah, it's like why do I bother changing my name? So.
Exactly. All right. Congrats on the win. How you doing, bro? Just in general in life.
Yeah, life's good. Life's good. I've been in New York now for a few months. I'm going back to Europe in a bit after DPC, so it's kind of like worked out really nice because this was about the time I was going to get to return. So being on the same time zone as the team and for the season, having it be 3 weeks is really nice. I actually feel the whole like we get to buckle down and grind this time around this year, and I really like that a lot. So enjoying life, enjoying Dota. So things are good. Thanks for asking. I hope you guys are doing well.
Of course. Happy you're seeing your face. Are you gonna come to any lands this year? We gonna see you in person again? Kind of missing you.
What's the European major again? It's in Berlin, I think. Or yes, yeah, I'll be at that Berlin. One. That I can't really pass
Let's
that up.
go.
There's too many people to not be able to see in so long. So I miss you guys too.
Okay. Thank you. I can't wait to see you. That's gonna be hype. In terms of how is balance?
I did think you were gonna ask a Dota question for a second there. I thought you were just gonna leave it at that.
No, I got more. How's the balance in your life? Because you do streaming, you do coaching, you're playing all that stuff. Like how do you balance doing everything?
That's a good question. I'd say that's like a constant struggle as a streamer. Like you can theoretically work 24 hours a day, and it's on your own time to like call yourself off. So I would just say that I kind of had like a crisis about that like a year ago, where I was like, okay, I'm definitely like way too involved and just immersed in the Dota world and not actually the real world. So I would just say the balance comes from just like working on awareness of like how much can I work, and being honest with myself about my limits. You know, like, okay, I've definitely worked way too much this week. Maybe I shouldn't do the extra YouTube video or the extra coaching sessions or something like that. Just kind of knowing, or at least trying to know where the line is how I try to do it. But it's definitely always a struggle.
All right, and also, what is your what is your tier list of your enjoyment of all the things you've done in Dota? Like between, playing, like being talent, being coaching, being streaming, content creator, like what's your favorite to least favorite type thing that you do in Dota?
I mean, I'd say my favorite individual experiences were like TI8 and TI9. I thought those were like the two coolest tournaments I've ever been a part of. Like, I just think that type of memory is like so individually. Like, those are the type of memories that I remember. That's why I put in all the work that I did. But I would say nowadays, I think the content creation is definitely my highest. Like, just coming up with new ideas about videos and talking to other people in the industry. And really the coolest part about getting to move to Europe with Liquid has been talking to other games, other players like that come by the headquarters, and getting like a bigger picture of all of that. So I would say it's like, back before COVID, casting was my favorite because it was about the social aspect. Like when we went to events, we would do the long 10 to 12 hour days, but then we would get to like go outside and hang out as a group, and all the friendships along the way that I got to meet. So I guess my tier list would be whatever is at the top is what gets me to also be social and make friends and meaningful connections. And so originally it was casting. And then now I'd say it's like the content creation with Liquid, and then coaching has been really enjoyable. And honestly, I'd say like streaming's kind of last on the thing. I feel like that's kind of like what ties it all together. Like if I don't stream, I'll probably just fade into irrelevance. So I kind of got to do that to make sure I get to do the other things. And it's totally worth it. It's not like streaming's like I loathe it or anything like that. I don't know if I'm like too serious on these questions. Cool. I feel like I'm giving
you're good,
really
bro. Serious
answers.
I mean, it's kind of nice. I mean, we can line it up, bro. You got any flames for Arkosh for dropping your team? Disgusting.
I think it's more about the flames towards Quakeful, just coming into our region thinking like just because he used to be on Team Liquid and he's a hotshot big shot streamer from EU. That my flame is that. He's a mid lane player. Like, I know my limits, Like, I know that I'm not going to be able to make it as a mid laner. And, it's time that he, maybe has the same recognition of the carry role. So that's my flame for today. All good things for Quackle. I don't actually have any beef. He's a good dude.
Nah. If we could just cut the clip there where you start praising him. Alrighty, well, I think that is all of our questions. FSJ, proper name here. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations again on the win.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one, guys.
You too. See ya.
Thanks.
Bye.
See you, Brian.
Look who's back. Here, have an arrow. have two.